He called me a useless grease monkey in front of millions. So I erased the engine map keeping his car from detonating. I was Vanguard Motorsports Ghost. 3 seasons. Never missed a midnight rebuild. Never asked for credit. Julian Vance won championships on my traction algorithms. Fuel strategies I coded while he was at VIP clubs. He made me delete my signature from the ECU logs. Investors wanted a driver driven by pure instinct, not software. I deleted it. Kept coding. 14 days ago. 1:47 a.m. Julian texts. Need the oversteer patched before Q1. Sponsors want a clean lap. I stared at the screen. Heard my heartbeat over the AC. Then I typed 2 words I'd never used. Tomorrow morning. No apology. No explanation. Just a boundary. I stopped logging onto the mainframe at midnight. Stopped recalibrating his sloppy shifts. Stopped being his digital safety net. He decided I was a lazy liability. Not because my work dropped. Because I forced him to actually drive. Last Tuesday. Critical aero test. Raw. Unpatched chassis. His cornering speeds cratered. Braking zones erratic. 5 laps in. The principal investor cut through the radio. Julian, why is the rear end sliding out on turn 4? Silence. Then Julian's voice. Tight. Car's not responding like it used to. Julian looked up at the glass telemetry booth like a drowning man spotting a helicopter. Elias, walk them through the downforce data. I keyed my microphone. Steady. I didn't balance this setup. I wasn't asked to. Heavy. Suffocating silence blanketed the channel. The default geometry is loaded. I added. If you want, I can pull up your raw steering inputs. The investor sighed. Box the car. We aren't reviewing garbage laps. Call ended. Julian stormed into the booth the second his engine cut off. What the hell was that? He hissed, kicking a diagnostic cart. I didn't patch the oversteer, I said, still typing on my tablet. You were supposed to cover my blind spots. Heat climbed my neck and my vision blurred. I don't fix your talent deficits at the last minute anymore. His jaw clenched until the muscle jumped. You're becoming a massive problem. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. That brings us to today. The mid-season performance review. A sterile, glass-walled conference room overlooking the pit lane. Julian sat across from me, violently spinning his titanium pen like he was rehearsing his authority. The team principal sat at the head of the table. A representative from the FIA compliance board audited over video feed. The perfect audience for an execution. Elias's track performance has been highly inconsistent. Julian began, leaning back with a smug sigh. I've noticed a severe lack of engagement, blatant insubordination, and a complete failure to meet basic engineering expectations. The principal nodded gravely, taking notes. He's become slow, unresponsive. Julian continued. He is no longer a reliable asset to a championship team. Then came the line he'd been saving for the cameras. I'm not going to support a lazy, useless wrench monkey in my garage. Not anymore. The words landed exactly how he intended. Sharp, humiliating. That's when the real bombshell dropped. I let a quiet, agonizing moment pass. I opened my hardened Pelican case. Before you finalize the termination, I said evenly, I want to clarify the architecture of this vehicle. Everything I am about to show is heavily encrypted, timestamped, and backed up. I slid the first dossier toward his father. Direct message logs. 2:47 a.m. emergency requests from Julian. All fulfilled by me to hide his catastrophic telemetry errors. Next folder. Email chains proving who actually optimized the fuel flow and wrote the launch algorithms. Lines of code timestamped at 1:42 a.m., 2:13 a.m., 4:06 a.m. I've been documenting my workload for 3 seasons, I said calmly. Legal counsel advised me to track these communication patterns for total transparency. The FIA auditor leaned forward on the screen. Elias, did you create the traction mapping tools the team patented last month? Yes, every single line of them. Julian's face drained of all color. He opened his mouth, but only a breathless squeak came out. I pulled out one final sheet of heavy cardstock. This details where the engine flow meters were manually altered before the post-race inspections. Small changes, but enough to illegally bypass the fuel restrictions and misrepresent our pace. His father sat up so fast his chair screeched. Is this true? He demanded. Julian sputtered. I didn't. He's twisting the data. The engine map you ran last month was highly illegal. I continued gently. I sent the compliant version twice. You actively deleted it. That's why the fuel numbers didn't match the inspection. The FIA auditor spoke quietly. Pause this evaluation immediately. I am initiating a federal compliance review, not of Elias. Julian's eyes went completely dull. This is a witch hunt. He's setting me up to steal my seat. No, I said, my voice dropping to a whisper. I stopped setting you up months ago. You just finally crashed. The auditor looked at me. Elias, thank you for bringing this gross violation forward. Then I played my final, lethal card. I should also formally state that I have already accepted an offer from Scuderia Ferrari. They reached out after reverse engineering the defensive mapping tools this team uses. They assumed the creator was the technical director. His father blinked, his empire crumbling. To you. Yes, I said, standing up. Chief of aerodynamics and telemetry. They're offering triple my current salary. Long silence. I fly to Maranello on Monday. Julian never sat in a race car again. By the following week, his custom helmet was gone. His legacy completely erased. When I walked into the Ferrari garage, the legendary team principal shook my hand. What do you need to build the fastest car in the world? He asked. No one had ever asked me that before. Drivers who don't lie to the telemetry, I said. And realistic deadlines. He laughed.